with your Rams sitting out right now because of everything that's going on with this COVID-19. People are talking about the baseball season. When is it coming back? Players are arguing that they want to get all their money, and obviously owners are saying, well, why am I going to pay you full money when we're going to play 82 games or 90 games, and I just don't think we're going to pay you guys that kind of money. What are your thoughts to the major leagues right now, the MLB with Rob Manfred, and trying to negotiate a deal right now with the players on these contracts where I don't know where it's going to go or what's going to happen, but out of all the sports, this was the sport that I thought was going to be, they were going to agree to something and we were going to go right into the season and preseason or right now spring training. I don't think it's going to happen right now as it looks right now. Where do you see this going? Do you think the players are right?
I feel similar to, as you described. I mean, number one, I miss it. That's something that I enjoy in the spring and summer. I used to love getting home from like a, late night recruiting, unfortunately down in New Jersey for a full day, and then getting home, and, it'd be like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and, you know, catching the end of Dodger game on MLB Network and hearing Vin Scully's voice, a few years back. Um, but yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I definitely feel for the players, but I also feel for the owners in the sense of, if there's lost revenue and loss, if you're not going to be able to have crowds and things like that. I don't know the nuts and bolts of all that when it entails to the financial side, but I do feel for the players. These guys work incredibly hard to make it to the major leagues and to stay there, and I think that's where I feel bad for these guys. You got some guys that maybe looking to make their major league debut or things like that, and having this taken away from them. And then obviously the minor leaguers are the ones that I really feel for. That's something that again, I don't know enough information on it, but you've
Right.
seen some owners or some teams where they're saying that they're not going to cover I guess, their salaries right now or whatnot. So um, it's a tough situation, and I hope somehow they're able to get to some type of agreement and play soon. But the longer this goes, it just seems like it's going to be harder and harder.
One of those minor leaguers that you actually coached is someone we had on air about a month ago, and Kyle Martin,
Great
who
kid,
who,
by the way.
who pitched for Fordham. What was it like coaching him, and what do you think his growth will be like as he goes up and throughout the Orioles organization, currently in Class A right now? How
Yeah,
do you think he'll grow? Yeah.
Kyle, I always joke with him. Coaching him was stressful. No, I'm kidding. No, he was awesome. If anything, he took all the stress off me. He came in right away and um, became a reliable option for us. He just an incredibly hard worker. That's one thing I always say. I mean, we'll be on a road trip and he's doing his post-game arm care because as a closer, he doesn't really have an opportunity to do it. So game would end, we'd meet quick, and then Kyle would be over there doing his arm care for like the next 20, 30 minutes. And there have been times where we've held the bus up so Kyle can do his arm care. um, but a lot of kids would kind of more or less say, I can do it tomorrow, or I can do it later. I want to go to the cafeteria with my buddies, or out to dinner with my parents or whatnot. And he was the guy that put in the work, and it's no surprise that he has been as successful as he was for us. And I have no doubt he's going to be a very good professional. I don't see why he can't make it. I mean, he's got some interesting stuff, but that's one of, I think, the ways I would describe Kyle is just one of the hardest workers I've met. And I've said this to him personally. I mean, we don't win last year if he doesn't do what he did for us on the mound. And even in the championship game, he gave up the game tying home run in the ninth inning, 2 outs, nobody on, and this kid hit one off him. And I've said, over and over, there's a lot of guys that would just kind of fold. You'd see a closer and I'm not going to speak about the major league teams in our area, but you see some closers go out there and they give up that home run in the ninth, and you could see it like, oh my God, it's here it comes, you know. And Kyle last year for us in that game, he came in after getting the third out of the ninth and said, "Let's go." Just a tough kid, you know. And I'm sure you kind of got that when you talked to him on the phone,
Of
but
course. Very confident.
yes, and that's one of like a huge strength of his.
I'm a baseball fan, and I follow college baseball, but I only follow college baseball when it's the College World Series. That's where I follow. Stony Brook a couple of years ago went to the College World Series. It was an unbelievable feat on them getting getting to the College World
I
Series.
think they lost to LSU.
Yes,
too. Yeah.
it's an incredible thing that they did, and I was rooting for them because I live right next. I live literally probably 5 miles away from Stony Brook University, so I know the coaches over there, and it was a great thing for here for Long Island. But Fordham, and you look at what is going on in baseball, and Rob Manfred with the Astros, and I've asked every single coach this, and I know Speedy's probably going to come back. Do you think this could happen in college baseball? But my question from you as a head coach, and you know baseball, do you think the MLB was not harsh enough to the Astros on what came out from Rob Manfred and the MLB on the cheating scandal that they had in 2017, 2018, and 2019?
Wow, man, another tough one. I don't like to get too involved in some of that
I
stuff.
gotcha.
I thought it was I think it's a difficult thing for them to handle, and I thought they handled it as well as they could. Um, you know, it's kind of hard to go after the players in that sense. I feel like my honest opinion, um, and this is just a guess of mine.
Right.
I might be wrong, but my guess is there's been more of this, or there is more of this going on than what actually really was just the Astros. I feel like you know, again, I'm not in the major league clubhouse,
Of
so I don't
course.
know, but it's a guess of mine that you know there's a lot more people doing stuff like that than just the Astros and ultimately, I guess the Red Sox. But I think I think the major issue with all the sign stealing stuff is the use of the technology is just to me is should not happen, and it's something that Major League Baseball hopefully has been able to figure out. But it's that's not I hate to say it's part of the game, but sign stealing and tipping pitches and all that stuff happens. But I think when you're using cameras, it's a definite issue. So, um, but yeah, I feel like they did what they could do.
Right.
Because in my opinion, the players, somebody said to you, "Hey, I can tell you what's coming. Would you want to know?" A lot of players would say, "Yeah, I'll take it." I think going after the front office and management was the right move, and the players, it just would have been. I feel like a endless rabbit hole they'd be going down. Again, I don't have all the background information other than what we saw on TV.
So Errol hinted at it earlier. I'm going to ask that question. Could you see that kind of thing with all college scandals that happen all the time? How many teams there are? Could you see that kind of thing occurring in college baseball to try to get an edge?
Uh, I mean, honestly, there's we now have video systems that are more and more um, in depth. I mean, it's not in game. Like, it's pretty hard to get it. It'd be really cheating to get it in game, but um, I've been to LSU. Previous your guest there, their facility is rivals. I wouldn't say major league stadiums, but it's better than my majority of minor league stadiums I've ever been in. So when you talk about the the things that they have compared to let's say Fordham or Stony Brook, they're going to have video rooms in their dugout and things like that. So um, you know, again, I think it's hard to do. I think it would never really happen in college. Definitely not to the level of when you're talking about those whatever the Band-Aid sensors or whatnot. I mean, you're talking about going to real extremes to cheat, and I don't think that would ever happen in the college game. But yeah, there's video systems and there's things that if you watch enough video, you might be able to pick up a sign sequence or something like that. But I don't look at that as more or less cheating if you're able to steal a sign from a video. But if you're able to see um, video live and tell a batter what's coming live,
Right.
that's a problem. If you got an earpiece in or something like that. But I think that's something. If another team knows my bunt sign or my steal sign, if they pitch out, that's my fault as a coach for not having enough signs or systems that we can change to.
Is there a particular player right now on your roster going into next year and next year's season that you can see the next Kyle Martin, the next big player to come out of Fordham and go into the MLB and have an opportunity to be a big player in a big position with the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers? Do you see any players on your roster right now that could do that?
Yeah, I mean, on our roster right now is, I guess, a tricky question because I don't think he's going to be on our roster in a couple of weeks. I mean, we have a left-hander, Matt Mikulski, who's been rated extremely high and is supposed to go. The draft now is going to be 5 rounds, so he's on the edge. I think he's a top 5 rounder. I think especially his maturity level and I mean, he's a left-hander that's 91 and 95, and he's got really good off-speed stuff. And I think he's a guy that potentially, depending on how they use him, whether they move him to the bullpen or not, he's got nasty stuff. When I think of him as a one-inning guy like Kyle Martin, I feel like his velocity is going to jump, and obviously being left-handed is a plus, but. We have a number of guys, when you talk about hopefully for next year.
Right.
But another kid, Jake McKenzie, is an infielder for us, shortstop. Just I call him like a dynamic player. I mean, he's like a run scoring machine.
Mm-hmm.
He's been our engine to our offense. Get on. Whether it be a hit or whatnot, and steal second, steal third, and then he scores on maybe a sac fly or a base hit. I mean, he's that type of player that we don't need to get a hit for him to score, and he more or less is an offense in his own. But tremendous athlete, a really good player that I think, in my opinion, is a professional player. A dynamic player like that who should be able to have success at the next level because he's not one-dimensional. And then we have a couple other pitchers that are fantastic, but I'm not sure. We'll see if it happens from this year, but the kid John Stankiewicz and another kid Corey Wall is a year away, I think. So
is he related to Andy Stankiewicz?
No, and that was funny because we played Grand Canyon this year, and Andy Stankiewicz is the head coach, who was the former Yankee.
Yep, I know Andy.
So he was a great guy to meet. Really nice guy, and it was funny because we had Stankiewicz on the mound versus Grand Canyon and Andy Stankiewicz managing. So it was fun. That's a name that you don't see every day.
Yeah.
So when you got Stankiewicz pitching against Stankiewicz, it was a cool matchup.
Before we let you go, we've talked to coaches out here in New York. We would love to come down to your facility when it does open and interview some of the players and some of the coaches and go down there and interact with you guys. If you would allow us to come down, we would love to come to Fordham and do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Our guys would love that.
Awesome. We'll reach out to you when everything opens up. We would love to get you back on the show and talk about Fordham baseball. We really appreciate you joining us, Coach.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.